About a year ago, we started digging into particularly what Sheldon Whitehouse was doing. He's a senator from Rhode Island, famous for belonging to an all-white beach club in Rhode Island. We started digging into what he was doing to target conservative groups, and we put in requests for the document. We wanted the receipts. And what we found out was he had a laundry list of groups that he was targeting that he had urged the IRS, the Department of Justice, and the U.S. Treasury to investigate. It was all conservative groups, and it was all groups like ours, Tea Party USA, the Conservative Partnership Institute, really the groups that were at the cutting edge of the fight for kind of America First values. And so we discovered that, and we publicized and said, look, this is just wrong. We went through this weaponization of the IRS about 10 years ago under Barack Obama and Lois Lerner, and we can't do this again. So we publicized that. We really kind of got out in front with that. So flash forward to about 2 weeks ago, we get a letter from the Internal Revenue Service that says, look, we're examining your C3 status. And again, for nonprofits, that's incredibly important because that allows patriots like your viewers to make tax deductible donations to our organization, just like they can do to organizations on the left. And they said, look, we're going to examine it. And it became very clear when we read through the document, this just wasn't just kind of a random audit that they do to any organization. They specifically outlined that they were concerned about our communications about elected officials. And that told us right off the bat, this isn't about how you run your business. This is about who you talk about and what you work on. So we knew right away that there was a weaponization of the IRS that was really part of this larger effort that we've been seeing, whether it's Jeff Clark or Steve Bannon or Mark Meadows, who the Biden administration is using kind of the tools and the power of the federal government to shut down. So that's how we got to this week when we had to announce that, look, we're not going to take it. We're fighting back, and we're going to make sure that the IRS can't be a bludgeon to attack right-wing groups.
Personnel, not policy, not the financial policy that you guys are using to run your organization, but it's because you guys have dared to attack the likes of Anthony Fauci, his successor, Monica Bertagnoli, I believe. You guys have also done great reporting on how I believe it's the American Library Association, how they
Yeah.
have ushered in, really opened the demonic floodgates for child pedophilia propaganda into and grooming materials. That's what they are. There's no sugarcoating in the war room. Into children's classrooms. And I think the Barbara Bush Foundation gave the lady Emily Jabinski, if that was her name, I'm not too good
Yeah.
at the names today, but gave, okay, there, I've redeemed myself, but gave her an award. So I'm just curious, why, let me rephrase, just like when I was saying in the beginning, juxtaposing a tale of two cities, two parties. It's not Republican versus Democrat, because there are a lot of Republican organizations that just kind of run with the colors of the swamp, right? They toe the line, they do what they're told, and they don't ever have these audits. But it's the organizations like yours that dare to sort of defy these conservative norms. So I'm just curious, why do you think they're going after you now?
Yeah, I think it's simple why they're going after us. We're effective. Like, we put lead on the
Yeah.
target, and our research brings down their left wing nominees. Whether it's guys like Dave Chipman, who was the leading advocate for gun control, or Emily Drabinski, who is peddling what is essentially gay porn into public libraries for 5-year-olds. We're conservative America First researchers that are focused on exposing these people. And I think the administration understands that's a threat because we dig in, we do the deep dives that that reporters used to do that they don't do anymore. We do that kind of research that changes the debate, that brings down nominees. Again, whether it's exposing Monica Bertagnoli's past at the NIH or exposing Kristen Clark, our Attorney General, whether her past of domestic abuse, we dig into that like no one else does. And what they're doing here is the process is the punishment. What they want to happen is that I don't have the time to dig into these people because I've got to comply with document demands from some researcher or some examiner in Missouri at the IRS who just demands that I turn over all these documents, and if I don't, it cripples my organization. So I've got to go through this process and comply, or they're going to destroy us. And look, I'm in a very fortunate position. I've got a lot of really allies from my years of working on the Hill and working in professional politics who are going to make sure we beat this. And I'm confident we're going to win because we've got patriots supporting us around the country, whether it's in Ohio or Florida or Texas. We've got folks all over the country who are supporting us. What I'm worried about is there's a small nonprofit in, Kentucky that's really engaged in an issue at their school board, and they get a letter like this, and they've got a $50,000 annual budget and no lawyers, and they're like, well, what do I do now? So we're going to fight for them. We're going to fight for the people that support us because we've got the ability to do it, and this is just simply wrong.
Well, it's certainly convenient timing as we're, approaching the 2024 election, and I don't think anyone could say that lawfare is not sort of the modus operandi, or at least currently the go-to tactic of not just the Democratic Party, but people who are, of course, opposed to Donald J. Trump. So I'm just curious if you could sort of expand on that a little bit for the audience who maybe isn't super familiar with what this lawfare looks like up close and personal, not just necessarily against Donald J. Trump, but against organizations that, support his agenda, support this America First agenda, exposing the Biden regime. So how deep do you think this current kind of legislative lawfare onslaught against groups like yours is going? And, have we seen the last of it?
Well, so first off, we definitely have not seen the last of it. And we're not the only ones here. Like, I don't want to make us into bigger martyrs than we are. Like, there's people that are having much more intrusive attacks than AAF is. But what you're fighting is a government that has endless resources. We're a small organization, less than $1 million budget. We're going up against an organization, the IRS, that has 87,000 agents, the new agents. We have to fight back against a limitless resource, and we have to take it out of our budget. We have to take it out of things that we would otherwise use for investigating nominees at the Federal Aviation Administration or the Department of Justice. And if we don't do it, we lose by default. And that's the same thing that happens to people that are getting sued or getting their bar credentials attacked. They've got to expend their personal resources to fight back against this. And that's what the government wants to do. They want you to kind of come to heel by making it so incredibly expensive and so time consuming that you just throw your hands up and you're like, screw it, I can't fight anymore, I give up. That's what they want to happen. I think the only way this stops is if we get a president that says, all right, the beatings are coming now, and you've been doing this to our side for ages, and we're going to dish it out in the same measure that they dished it out to groups like AAF and folks on the right. And the only way it stops is when that happens and that everybody says, look, this is ridiculous. We got to stop this stuff with the government attacking individuals because of their political positions, and everybody needs to retreat to their corners. But until we have a president that's willing to come in and have that approach and say, look, the beatings are going to begin now, leftists. This stuff isn't going to stop.
They want it to be a Pyrrhic victory. You're so right. That's the point. But I think it's sort of funny in the buried lead where they sort of say the quiet part out loud, the projection aspect to it is that they fundamentally miscalculate and I think underestimate what the Trump movement is about. Because if we were about money, if we were about high paying jobs, if we were about setting up these shady dark money NGOs to launder money to whatever cause, who knows what, we would have stopped a long time ago because the lawfare wouldn't have been worth it, right? President Donald J. Trump would not have returned from the plow, as Stephen K. Bannon always says, if it wasn't about the same thing that motivates you, the same thing that motivates him, the same thing that motivates myself and Stephen K. Bannon and everyone who watches this show, which is love of country, and no price, right? No price can be put on that. So before I let you go, I want to know what the path forward looks like for you guys, and most importantly, how the War Room Posse, even besides writing checks or, supporting you guys financially, but how they can help you and get the word out and share this story.
Yeah, so the path forward for us is, we're going to work through the process. We have a lot of lawyers who know how to do this. But I think what the posse can do is, consume our materials. We're a research organization. We like sharing the information. So go to our website, american-af.org, and sign up for our newsletter. Get the research we do on nominees. Empower yourself with the good work that my team puts together, and really be a force for exposing the radicals on the left, whether they're in government or nonprofits. Just get empowered with that information. So please visit our website and follow us on Twitter at Exposing Biden, where we put out all of our information, and just be part of the team.